What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. It's Ars. Let's get productive. So, the plugin I want to talk about today is really going to help you reimagine bell sounds and the type of creative brightness you can add to your tracks. Today, we're going to be talking about bells. It's a new VST by Thenatan, one of my favorite developers of plugins and VSTs, and he's really been on a roll lately. I just reviewed his brass VST a couple of weeks ago, and here he is with another installment. This thing is a VST based entirely around bells, but they're not just typical sounding bells. Between the sound design and the 4 sample engines allowing you to layer up sounds, you can get some really creative ideas out of this thing. So without wasting any more time, let's see what this thing is all about. Thenatan bells, let's do it. So as always, I have Logic queued up, and this is bells. Now bells comes with 125 presets. It has 4 samplers, so 4 different engines. You can get really creative with the pitch designer and vibrato and pitch envelopes. Bells comes with 200 samples, so that times 4 sample engines layered up. The preset possibilities are endless. It also comes with a built-in effects section like tremolo, panner, compressor, a 3-band equalizer, reverb, delay, bit crusher, saturation, low-pass, high-pass filters, a stereo widener, and it has a beautiful randomizer in the center of the display. It's really, really cool looking. Now, if we take a look back over here at the main screen and what's happening in the UI itself, it looks very familiar. Like I said, I reviewed brass a couple of weeks back, and this seems like it falls in the same category of instrument. It's one of those instruments that focuses solely on one thing. I feel like this is going to be a new kind of theme for Thenatan, where he releases these VSTs that are focused on specific instruments. The last one was brass, and it had a very similar, almost exact UI design. The colors were a little bit different, and this one is bells. So it looks really familiar. It has a really beautiful blue and grayish display. I like the neon green, the turquoise, if you will, turquoise kind of neon green color. Really cool looking. And the contrast in the UI is perfect. Now, if you look down here, this is basically the same setup as the brass instrument. So if you have the brass instrument, you already know how to use this one. You have your 4 layers down here. Each one of these dots represent a different engine, a different layer of sounds that you can add. When the dots are all highlighted, all of the sounds are going to play. If you unhighlight one of the boxes, that specific engine won't play. So right now in the top left corner, I have 1 layer playing. And you can change that layer by going to the top left corner of this box right here where it says 98. You just change the numeric value and it'll change the sound. And then you can turn on another layer and add another layer right there, and that'll give you another sound to layer up with the one on the left. You can change the numeric value of that one and just scroll through the sounds until you find one that you like. You can add another layer here and change the numeric value. And you can add a 4th layer if you like. Now, if you want to go into the layers section and take a closer look at those 4 layers, you're going to go up here to the top where you see these faders, and you click on that, and it's going to give you the 4 layers, and it's also going to give you some of the settings to make individual adjustments to those layers. So you have layer A, B, C, and D, and every single one of these layers has a gain knob, a panning knob, a tuning knob, so you can change the pitch of the sound, and a high pass and a low pass filter, and a high pass and a low pass filter for each individual layer, which is going to allow you to blend those layers together in a way that's not going to clash with each other. And it's going to help you really do some really dope sound designs and create some really cool presets. If you click on the faders again, it's going to bring you back to the main screen. And after you get past your layers and your samples, you have your attack right here. So adjusting that attack can help you turn a really sharp, bright sounding bell into a really smooth and warm sounding pad. And you'll see it in a second when we go through the presets. This thing isn't just about bells. It's about taking bells and mangling them and twisting them and changing them up to get your own sounds and create something really, truly creative and really, truly unique. And as I start to go through the presets, you're going to see for yourself that the categories of sounds inside of this thing, even though they're all generated from bells, you got things that sound like pads and all kinds of weird effects and just really cool things. So you can get that by playing around with the different effects in the ADSR section. So you have your attack right here, you have your release, you have your width right here, which is going to allow you to widen that sound. You have your color, which is going to allow you to kind of brighten it or darken it. And then you have your main gain knob right here. Now, like I said earlier, this thing comes with a randomizer and it's right here in the middle. So you'll notice as I scroll with the randomizer here in the middle, all of these numbers down here in the bottom left corner are changing, and all of those numbers are represented by instruments. So it's just scrolling randomly through instruments. And you can do that endlessly. And even if you randomly, say you randomly scroll to the top right here and you play that, you can still go over to the sample section and change any one of the layers, change the sample for any one of the layers and still create your own sound. So it's really cool, and it's like really no exaggeration. There really is an endless level of possibilities of the type of sounds you can create using this thing. If you go up here to the top right corner, these dots right here represent your effects section. You have drive, you have a delay, you have a reverb, you have a tremolo, you have a low pass and high pass filter, you have your compressor here, you have your EQ section, and you have your 8-bit crusher. And right here you have this little gear knob represents your settings section. If you go up here to the top left corner with the magnifying glass, that's going to take you to your preset section, and you have all of these different presets that you can go through. And that's basically it. That is the UI and the functionality of this VST. But like I've been saying this whole time, this thing shines in its presets, in its capabilities to create really interesting presets. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to scroll through some of the presets, and I'm going to let you hear some of the sounds that are loaded up inside of this thing. So let's get right into that. So I'm going to click on presets right up here, and I'm just going to start playing from anywhere. So I'm going to scroll around a little bit and just start playing some sounds. So I mean, these are bells, but the way they're tweaked, you can really get some interesting sounds out of these bells. If you look up here at the top left corner, you're going to see a little circle right here. If you click on that, that's going to take you to your zapper section and your vibrato section. So you can change the rise and the fall of any one of these sounds and get like a riser effect. And you can also add vibrato to it. So you can really do anything with these sounds that you want to do. It's just really, really cool. But let's jump back into the presets really quickly and go through some more of these presets. This one is called Communications with Earth. So you can scroll through any of these presets and then go back to the main page and start playing with the samples and really create your own preset. So you have this one right here. This sound right here is only using the bottom two layers. I can add a layer, so I can add another bell to it. could add another layer to that. And just like that, I've created a whole new bell that I can save as my own preset. So that's just some of the presets, and that's just me going through some of the sounds that come loaded up inside of this thing. But what I want to do right now, without wasting any more time, I want to get right into the cookup. I want to show you guys a beat I created using this VST. Now, I have this beat loaded up. It's a little bit unfinished, but all of the sounds, every single one of the sounds, except for the bass line, every single sound you hear inside of this thing is coming from bells. So with the exception of the bass line and the drums, everything is coming from bells. So let's check this beat out really quickly, and let's see what bells sounds like in action. Here we go. Let's check this thing out. And that's it. That's the beat I made using bells. Now, like I've been saying this whole review, this is like the baby brother of brass or the big brother of brass. I don't know if it's baby or big, but it's all in the same family. This is a new category coming from Thenatan, where he is just putting out these VSTs that focus on individual instruments. Now, the great thing about doing something like that, and that I've discovered after using some of these instruments, is when you put all your focus on one instrument, you can really focus on making that one instrument as great as it can possibly be. So what I'm noticing about the brass VST he put out, as well as this bells VST that he put out, all of the different presets in the bells sound so creative and so unique and so different. They all fall in a bells category, but they allow you to really stretch the possibilities of what you can make using bells. And I think you're only able to do that if you put your total focus on that one instrument. And I think that's where Thenatan is shining, coming out with these kind of one-off solo instrument VSTs. They sound really, really dope. I love brass. I love bells. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Is this something that you can see yourself adding to your arsenal? As always, leave a comment down below. Let me know any new VSTs or plugins that you'd like to see me bring to this channel. And as always, if you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you can stay notified anytime I drop a new video. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.